All right. You and I have completed 3 different designs, 3 different layouts here inside Photoshop. Of course, here is the high resolution layout. This is how we've decided that we want our layout to look on high resolution devices. And then, of course, the medium resolution layout, which, of course, I have open handy for me here inside Photoshop. And then, of course, we just finished off working on the low resolution layout. So there's all 3 layouts there inside Photoshop. Give me just a second. What I'll do is I'll arrange these guys vertically across the Photoshop interface. I'll just tap my tab key so we can see all 3 at once here. There we go. There's all 3 layouts. High on the left, medium over on the right-hand side, and low there in the middle. So the idea here, very much like the wireframe process, is to get sign-off from our client or from our boss or coworkers or even ourselves if it's a project that we're working on ourselves. Oftentimes I'll take these designs, I'll print them off, I'll grab a Sharpie marker and I'll maybe make some adjustments or make some notes and so on, come back to Photoshop, refine the layout even further, refine the design even further. We don't want to move into the world of code until we're completely satisfied with what we have. Okay, very important. It's a lot easier to change things at this stage of the game and then get into code later on than it is to rearrange our code after the fact. Okay, so we're satisfied with this. We've gotten sign off on this. We're ready now to move into the world of code. Now, this may seem like somewhat of a daunting task. If you've never gotten into code before, I'm going to do my absolute best to make this as simple and straightforward for you as I can. So give me a moment here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip all the way down to my desktop. I'm going to hide everything. What we want to do now is we want to create some files, some new files inside our work files folder. So specifically an HTML file and a corresponding CSS file. And once again, if you've never done this work before, I'm going to do my best to make this as absolutely straightforward for you as possible. So what we're going to need is a coding application of some sort. There are many, many, many different applications that you can make use of. You could use Dreamweaver, for instance. You could use TextEdit here on the Mac. You could use Notepad over on the Windows side. That would be perfectly fine. There's one called Notepad++ for the Windows side. There's one called Text Wrangler. There's tons of them out there. My personal favorite is a Mac-only application called Coda, and I've used it for a number of years. I love it. It's really easy and straightforward to work with. Okay, so you're going to have to find a program that you want to use to hand code with. All right, now I have to stress here that you don't want to use a program like Microsoft Word or OpenOffice Writer. These are word processing applications. What we want is a text editor, like a plain text editor. So hopefully you have your hands on just such an application. What we want to do is we want to create a brand new document inside that application. Okay, so as soon as I launched Coda, it created for me a brand new blank document. For yourself, you might have to choose File New. And what we want to do inside this file is we want to begin creating the structure for our HTML document. All right, now this is going to be really, really simple stuff. So if you've never done this before, here we go. We're about to code a web page from complete scratch all by hand, and it's really not that hard. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to type in open angle bracket, HTML, close angle bracket. Okay. Now, Coda is a great application. This is one of the many reasons why I like Coda, is it closes what's referred to as my HTML element for me. So notice here, it typed in for me open angle bracket / HTML, close angle bracket. Now, if your program isn't as helpful, you're going to have to manually type that in. Open angle bracket / HTML, close angle bracket. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my cursor between those two guys. These are called element tags. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit enter a whole bunch of times to space these guys apart. Okay, so what I've just done is I've defined this document as an HTML document. Now, inside the HTML element, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and create 2 more elements. Okay, I think of elements as containers or boxes. Okay, if you want sort of a conceptual idea of how these guys work. So the first element is going to be called head. So I'm going to type in open angle bracket. This is back up towards the top of my code. Open angle bracket, HEAD, head, close angle bracket. Okay, and then once again, you're going to have to type in possibly your closing head tag. So open angle bracket / HEAD, close angle bracket. And what I'm going to do, once again, is I'm going to give myself just a little bit of space between these guys. Something like that, I think. So we have the HTML element. Okay, this guy's huge. And then inside the HTML element, we have the head. And I said I actually wanted 2 of these guys. So the next guy that I want is called body. Okay, so I'm just going to move my cursor down a little bit just below the closing head tag down here somewhere. And I'm going to type in open angle bracket body close angle bracket. And then once again, make sure to close your body. Something like that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the body, the open angle bracket / body close angle bracket, this closing tag, and I'm going to cut them, Control or Command X, and I'm going to paste them all the way down just above the closing HTML tag, just like so. Congratulations, you just created an HTML document. It's really, really straightforward stuff. Okay, so we have our HTML container. Inside that container, we have 2 smaller containers, a head and a body. All right, good stuff. Go ahead and save your file now. I'm going to choose File, and then I'm going to head down to Save As. Now, what I want to do is I want to save this guy into my Work Files folder. And I also want to make sure, not to hide his extension, at least here on the Mac, I want to make sure to call him .html. Now, specifically what I'm going to do is I'm going to call him index.html because I want this guy to be the opening page for my website. All right, so index.html, saving this guy into my Work Files folder. Perfect. Go ahead and click on Save. That's all there is to it. Okay, great. We're off to a good start. Now let's go and create what's referred to as our external style sheet.